Hi YouTube, how's it going? Long time no see. I hope you're well. I'm not been very well myself, but I will talk, sort of mentally not very well, but I'll talk about that after this. Because today is International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. Before you ask if there is a male International Man's Day, sorry, that would be the 19th of November. There's a very funny Richard Herring, a British comedian, has been going around on Twitter all day finding all the men saying, "Ooh, how sexist, why isn't there an International Man's Day?" and going, "There is, it's on the 19th of November. It's been very funny, it's been very dedicated to the cause. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about feminism quickly, and then I'll give you a bit of an update on myself. I hope you've all been well. This is the quote from Diana Vreeland, who's an editor. When I found this quote a couple of days ago, it sort of made me feel like I wanted to cry. I didn't realise how badly I needed to hear this. Even though I've always sort of wholeheartedly believed that women are more than their appearance, hearing someone else talk like this about it made me feel like I wasn't completely insane. And the quote is, "You don't have to be pretty. You don't owe prettiness to anyone. Not to your boyfriend, spouse, partner, not to your co-workers, especially not to random men on the street. You don't owe it to your mother. You don't owe it to your children. You don't owe it to civilization in general. Prettiness is not a rent you pay for occupying a space marked female." I think that I've known that intellectually for a long time, that I don't have to be beautiful to be a worthwhile human being, and also that, that the pressure on women to be attractive and to find their own self-worth in their appearance is intense and unjustified. I've known that sort of cognitively for a long time, but I didn't realise it emotionally until I read the quote. I'm not the most attractive person in the world. I've got sort of relevantly, I put on a shed load of makeup to make this YouTube video. So this is what it is. It's like I don't feel like I can make YouTube videos without putting on a shitload of makeup, arranging some sort of flattering lighting. I don't feel like me, just who I am, is acceptable for you. Would be well received by you, the general public, but there's more than that. So I've never really thought of myself. I was born with a facial deformity. I had surgery on it when I was 10 years old. I've made another video about it called "Living with Ptosis," way back somewhere in my archives. Because I was facially deformed, I was always told as a child, you're very bright, you're very talented at music, you sing very nicely, these things. No one ever really told me that I was beautiful. And I think it's true for a lot of women that just aren't beautiful. Not everyone is beautiful. They're not brought up to believe that they're beautiful. And many women who actually are sort of what would be generally considered beautiful find it very difficult to feel beautiful anyway, because of this horrific culture that we have. And I'm sure you're familiar with this argument. You don't need me to go on and on about it. The airbrushing, size zero, cosmetics industry led, fashion led assault on women's appearance is very well documented. But what I can never understand is that not only did I accept that that my main sort of gift in life isn't to be beautiful, but also that, that there was nothing wrong with me not being beautiful. Like, I've always felt that it's society that has a problem with having trouble viewing my worth, rather than it being my problem. And so I'm quite commonly told, actually, that I'm ugly by men. I remember once I was walking down a train platform, and I had long hair, actually much like I do now. I'm growing it again. I had short hair for many years because of this incident, actually, that it destroyed my self-worth. I know it sounds like a very incidental thing to happen, but for me it was very traumatic, being someone with a facial deformity who's always sort of been bullied on that ground. So I was walking down a train platform, and there were three guys walking behind me, and they were like making noises about me being hot or whatever. And I turned around and looked over my shoulder at them, and I turned around and looked on the side where I have my lazy eye, so I must have given them a sort of lazy-eyed look like that. And they went, "Ugh," and it was because they thought I was going to be really pretty because of my long, pretty curly hair. And when I turned around, they recoiled in horror. And I've never been able to get that out of my head since. obviously it's very rude of them. They were obviously pricks, you know. It doesn't matter if you find someone attractive. You don't ever treat anyone like that. It has a very lasting effect when you do. Not my point though. My point is that I get told with fair regularity that I am actually an unattractive woman. Someone on Twitter the other day said, "Oh yeah, but you're both really ugly." You know, that happens all the time, and it's quite offensive to me. And I've never been able to understand why, if I accept that being attractive isn't my gift, but I have lots and lots of gifts, you know, and that I'm a loving, caring person, and that I'm an intelligent person, and that I may one day prove to be a gifted writer and travel the world and wonderful things about me, why it would matter to me that men tell me that I'm ugly. And it wasn't until I read this quote from Diana Vreeland, and particularly that last line, "Prettiness is not a rent you pay for occupying a space-marked female," that I realised why. Thanks, Kat, for your timing there. That I realised why I've always found it so offensive. It's not because I'm desperate, although there are many women who are desperate to please you men and for you to find them attractive, and you can spot them very clearly walking down the street. They're the ones that have spent a long time getting ready and put a lot of effort and money into, and possibly pain, suffered a lot of pain in order for you to find them attractive. So, but it's not that reason that it offends me when you tell me that I'm ugly. It's the notion that your opinion means dick that's offensive to me. You know, it's the fact that you feel so, that you're so thoughtlessly, mindlessly privileged in society that it doesn't even occur to you that it's a privileged, that you're showing an ugly privilege by telling someone that you're ugly, that they're ugly, as though your opinion means anything. You know, I don't know your name, you've never done anything for me in my life, I'm never going to see you again. Why would I give a fuck what you think? It's the fact that you've come up to me to tell me that I find offensive. It's your blatant, your flaunting of your privilege which pisses me off. You know, not that you find me unattractive, because I've come to terms with that I'm not ever going to be Kate Moss, and I'm not ever going to be, you know, whoever, I don't know, Cameron Diaz. It's the fact that you think it's going to matter to me that I find offensive, that you think I'm a vacuous, shallow, flippant human being, woman like that. And there are plenty of women like that do give a fuck what you think. At the same time, so this notion of, I keep forgetting my notion, I've not been very well recently, been a bit depressed recently, and it's made my mind sort of turn a bit to shit, so thank you for bearing with me while I try and get my thoughts together, because I feel very strongly about it, but I'm having trouble verbalising it. You know, that prettiness is not a rent I pay for occupying a space-marked female. You know, my appearance is not what makes me a human, you know, I don't have to justify my existence as a human being by being good for you to look at, for being pretty for you to look at. And particularly it's a problem for women, you know, the meaning of me and my point, and the point in my existence is not to look nice for you. There's much more to me, and when you reduce me to that, you take away all of my gifts, and you lose out because you don't get to see the person that I am or benefit from my company or my point of view or my gifts, because you can't see them, because you can't get past that. Yeah, society's pretty fucked. It's so even though I wholeheartedly believe everything that I've just said, I went out today. I went walking around, and I went and walked through a park, and I didn't see myself for hours, and I was very happy walking around in nature and watching people, watching kids play and taking pictures of things. I wish I could edit videos because I would show you the photos that I've been taking. I've been trying to work on my photography. And I felt okay, and as soon as I walked out of the park and I walked around an area called Muswell Hill in London, and there were reflective surfaces everywhere, I honestly I got sort of suicidal. Like, I felt so unhappy about the way I looked that I didn't feel like I had like a justification for living even. I feel like the message from society on women is so strong, that you need to be beautiful to be worthwhile, that to exist as a woman that isn't beautiful is very difficult, and that you can always feel like you might as well kill yourself because there's no future for you in a society like this. I find that pretty fucked up, and I wanted to talk about that on International Women's Day. It seems like a good time to bring it up. So yeah, that's enough on that. How else have I been? Not very well. My last video I was talking about how I'm going to make 2014 the year where I save loads of money to go travelling and, you know, get over that ex-boyfriend that dumped me, but I've become very lonely. I don't think I need to be in a relationship to be happy, but I need to have people around, and I've been very isolated, and it's made me very depressed. Part of the reason probably I felt suicidal looking at my reflection walking around today, and have been feeling suicidal recently, is that feeling of isolation. It's not, you know, it's not, I wish I was pretty. It's more than that. I hate all the things about me that mean that I can't have a big group of friends, or that I can't have people want to hang out with me, or have men and women's attention on me. So I'm not really sure what to do about it, because I've tried everything. You know, I've been walking miles and miles. I walk 9 miles home from work quite a lot of the time, to get some exercise, to get some endorphins flowing. I've been watching what I eat and losing a bit of weight, so I feel a bit better about myself, but you know, it's had a limited effect. I tried to talk kindly to myself about, you know, my own self-worth, and, you know, I even tried sort of positive affirmations to do with how I'm healing and I'm filling myself with love and courage, and I'm saving money and I'm about to realise my travel dreams, and, you know, I've tried to start a blog, and sort of get some writing on the go, and all really positive things, but they don't seem to work, and I feel horribly like I'm sort of doomed to a life of depression. I think I need to try to remember that it always feels like that when you're in the midst of a depressive episode, that you're never going to get better. And then there are times of, like, you know, fantastic happiness that I just need to hold on, because I'll get back to a time like that and not give up. But it's very difficult to remember when you're all alone and you feel like you sort of hate yourself and that you want to die. And your mind starts seeking around desperately for things to fill the void. The approval of others, particularly like men. I think I've got daddy issues, you know, I sort of run from one relationship to the next, and I've decided for my own well-being that I'm not going to be in a relationship anytime soon, because I need to work on learning how to make myself happy. But I always find my mind slipping back to that, you know, or maybe I should, you know, go and do my hair and my makeup and put on sort of skin-tight clothes and go and hang out in a bar, and maybe I should try, you know, just sign up to a dating website or something. I catch myself doing it. I'm like, no, I thought we were being single for a while. Yeah, I'm not very happy. But no one likes, and that's another thing, is sort of depression is sort of contagious, isn't it? I know that they've shown depression is contagious, that that you can trace depression through friends and relationships, and that's why people actually have an instinct to isolate depressed people. You know, no one wants to be around people that are depressed, because it's a powerful, you know, sadness is a powerful, it's more than sadness, but, you know, a heavy poignancy and a sadness is very powerful, and it can actually bring down entire groups of people. People do have an instinct, maybe an evolutionary instinct, to isolate depressed people, which is fine and good for people who want to lead happy lives. Good for you, enjoy it. But it's really bad for people who are chronically depressed, because nothing will make you more quickly and severely depressed than spending vast amounts of time on your own with no input from anyone else. Very small things can make me feel better. Someone taking the time to just hang out with me and have a chat with me and stuff, I always feel better after that. But I've got very few friends, and I don't have it in me to try and make any new friends. I don't have the confidence. I haven't made a YouTube video in a long time, because you know, since I was making I think it was my last video was about New Year's resolutions. so it must have been 3 months, because I feel so severely socially anxious that I can't even sit down in front of a camera on my own anymore, because I feel like I have absolutely nothing of worth to say to anyone, and no one gives a shit about me. But you know, I have seasonal affective disorder. It's March. I'm sure as the weather picks up, I'll feel better. I'll get another 6 months of grace before next winter. And I've got a nice friend from YouTube, Stan Marsh 1. He's coming to see me tomorrow because he knew that I've been feeling a bit down. So we're going to go out for a meal in Chinatown and then go and see the Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson's new film, because he's a bit of a filmy addict and so am I. So that should be nice. At least I'll get some time with someone for once. Yeah, I've got a long way to go until I've saved enough money to go travelling, and I can't really hack this sort of just working and coming home and being on my own thing for very much longer. So, and I really hope that when I do go travelling, I do find somewhere to belong, a bit more, maybe like-minded people, a few more like-minded people, because, you know, something has to give, really. But I've been saying that on YouTube since I was 21, and I'm now 28 this year, 27 at the moment. And I could have been saying it since I was 15, I just wasn't on YouTube. So it's now been over a decade that I've had problems with depression. I may need to accept that it's never going to go away. But I just hope some drastic enough changes, like getting out of the London rat race and the commuter hell, and moving to a country where there's a bit better weather, might help my seasonal affective disorder, and feeling a bit more like part of a like-minded community in real life might help me a bit. So I just got to keep the faith and not give up. I hope you're well, YouTube. Let me know how you are. I hope you've had a good International Women's Day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.